ready to witness the quarterfinals. These will be the knockouts, and it could be the last and final opportunity that you receive to witness some of these debaters in action. And the topic that will be battled here today is whether or not the provincial council system is an effective method of devolution of power from the centre in Sri Lanka. Introducing to you your proposition for today, Holy Family Convent, Colombo. Your opposition, Ananda College, Colombo. Without further ado, let me introduce to you our eminent panel of judges. We have with us Professor Ranjit Bandara. We also have with us Dr. G. Banarialla. We also have with us Ms. Anuradha Herath. We also have with us Mr. Darshan Kure. Before we move on to the opening statements, the quarterfinals will be extremely challenging for the debaters and exciting for you.
Hi, I'm Radhinka Guruge, representing Holy Family Convent, Bamlapitiya, as the debate captain and as first speaker for side proposition. We hope to give you a memorable debate, and this is the debater. Honourable adjudicators and members of the House, the motion for this evening is that the provincial council system is an effective method of devolution of power from the centre in Sri Lanka. A provincial council system is an autonomous body and is not under any ministry. It derives its authority and power from the constitution and acts of the parliament. It also undertakes activities which had earlier been undertaken by the central government ministries, departments, corporations and statutory authorities. Ladies and gentlemen, now to let you know about what devolution of power means. According to the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, it states that the central government devolves or shares specific powers to the provincial council.
Hi, I'm Sandra Jayaratna. I'm in grade 13. Today, I'm the first speaker for Ananda College. We take our opponents seriously. We've prepared well for this debate. And I'm pretty sure you'll have a very interesting debate today. So keep watching MTV Sports. My fellow Sri Lankans, today we are living in the aftermath of a 3-decade-old war. If the provincial councils were effective, if the voices of the minorities were heard through these provincial councils, which is the foremost duty of these provincial councils, this would have ended much earlier. Today, the side proposition told us that the power is devolved in Sri Lanka through these provincial councils. But the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka says the exact opposite in the case of In Re 13th Amendment. According to the decision given, the 13th Amendment does not devolve power in Sri Lanka. But let me give an example for a true devolved state, a true devolved system of administration. It's federalism.
Hello everybody, I'm Thanuki Gunasinghe and I'm your face-off speaker, that is your second speaker for the quarterfinal. Holy Family Convent is here to make a change, an impact, and so glory be to God alone. Thank you. There's a car in a very good condition. You put a good driver behind the wheel when you want to test it. But if you put a bad driver behind the wheel and the car crashes, it is not the fault of the car, but the fault of the driver. Now that is the basic way to cut your argument on the administration and the management. Sir, please understand that we are speaking of the system being an effective method for the devolution of power from the centre in Sri Lanka and not about the administration.
Ma'am, if the central government intervenes in everything the provincial councils do, where is devolution there?
We believe for decision to take about the land, they have to go through the land commission. So is that real devolution?
Sir, isn't that again a problem with the management? We are speaking about the system. We harped on the fact that the system is an effective method for the devolution of power.
The system itself self-contradicts the system again, because it gives power with one hand and then again takes it back with the other hand.
Sir, this is the problem that the side opposition has to understand. The side proposition is continuously saying that there is nothing wrong in central intervention. There should be a form of authority that is held by the central government.
I'm Jihan Samaravikraman from Ananda College, and today for a change, I'll be going for the face-off. And I promise you, as always, Ananda College will bring you exuberant, exhilarating, adrenaline-pumping action. So stay tuned. dear judges, intellectuals of the House. Today the side proposition comes up here and they say the problem is not with the system, the problem is with the management. But they themselves stated that these provincial councils have their own autonomy. If they have their own autonomy, they should be in charge of the management as well. So that is exactly why we believe that they don't have their own autonomy. Hence, that's why we believe that's not the correct form of devolution of power. Yes,
so
ma'am.
your first speaker mentioned clearly saying that federalism is the solution, but we strictly mentioned that federalism is going to bring about another war. So is that your solution to the provincial council system?
Ma'am, today it's not our burden to give a solution. Our burden today here is to prove that the provincial council system is ineffective in devolving power, but we believe that that is kind of a possible solution, but it is not our burden to actually defend federalism. Yes,
Sir, I believe that the central government, we believe that the central government has at any point the right to take powers away only if it's necessary. I don't believe that if you take a certain instance of the provincial council system, do you see the central government intervening at every matter? But there are certain instances, do you believe that there are certain instances that they should put in their power there?
So true enough, ma'am, true enough that there are certain instances. That's exactly why there are some kind of powers vested exclusively in the reserve list. But the problem is the central government is actually influencing the decisions of the provincial councils that have been actually, that are only in the provincial list. So that's why we believe the central government has no right to intervene in the decisions that the provincial council takes regarding the subjects that are in the provincial council list.
Hi everyone, my name is Shehani Rajendra, representing Holy Family Convent, Bambalapitiya. I will be handling the rapid fire round, and we're here to give you a wonderful and an exciting debate. So have fun.
Ma'am, the article 154R3 says that the funding of the provincial council is under the government. So is that the autonomy you're talking about?
No, sir, I would like to state that the funding is done by the budget of the central government, by the monetary board and by the local taxes. And also we believe that while doing cost-benefit analysis, that although it's funded by these three organizations, it's much profitable.
The government only allocates 10% of its entire GDP to these provincial councils each year. And there are 9 provinces that allocates around 1% to each province. So do you believe that this is enough to bring about all of your infrastructure and things like that?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that point. Although it's been allocated in such a way, it has been managed in such a way that it has been okay for so long. And also if the system has taken certain remedies within themselves, I believe that we strongly believe as side proposition that it can definitely manage the whole system.
Ma'am, if that's the case, why is the central government always doing the projects within these provincial council areas?
Right. Sir, thank you so much for that point. I believe that side opposition is going on and on just about the influence to take away this system, which is totally redundant, because just because influence comes in, the state is definitely sovereign and they need to have whole authority over the system.
Your first speaker mentioned that there's no ministry which controls these provincial councils. So, madam, what's the role of the Ministry of Local Authorities and Provincial Councils?
And ladies and gentlemen, if the central government can just barge in and influence any of the actions taken by these provincial councils, what sort of devolution is there, ladies and gentlemen? Because at the end of the day, what we see today is decentralization and not proper devolution.
Ma'am, the system came in to provide a solution for the ethnic problem, to provide more power, to give more powers to the minor ethnicities. So if all the powers that are given are taken back by the government, is the system valid?
Ma'am, even the president of Sri Lanka is talking about a 13 plus. So how can you say the system is okay?
Ma'am, there are bills like the Divini Aguma, the Magan Aguma, and these bills can simply override any of the decisions made by these provincial councils. So we on side opposition, we really can't see any devolution in this council.
Hi, I'm Dino Gunasekara from Ananda College. I'll be dealing with the third round today. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be bamboozled.
Do you believe that in terms of your stance on federalism, Sri Lanka is a country which spreads over 65,610 square kilometers. Is it practical to have federalism in such a small country?
Ma'am, we've told you this before. It's not our burden to defend federalism, but I'll ask you a question, ma'am. Switzerland is smaller than Sri Lanka, and that's a successful federalist country.
So do you believe that after a 30-year-old war that Sri Lankan people want federalism in the country?
Ma'am, this debate is not on whether we should establish federalism in Sri Lanka or not. Federalism is one solution we can give, ladies and gentlemen, but this debate is about to decide whether the system of devolution we see in Sri Lanka is successful or not. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, could you unambiguously restate why you believe that provincial council system is ineffective?
Ma'am, the provincial council system is ineffective firstly because these provincial councils have no power at all. The constitution gives these councils power over land, the power over police and things like that, but the constitution itself takes back these powers by saying that look, you need a commissioner, you need a commission to for the governor to take control of these powers, and these commissions haven't been established since the very establishment of these provincial councils themselves. Yes, ma'am.
So don't you believe that devolutionization means sharing, and the government has the right to share powers, specific powers, where they can benefit the nation as a whole and not only the province, but understand the provincial problems also?
Ma'am, the very reason for why we need devolution is that different provinces have different needs, and that's why we need devolution, ladies and gentlemen. And if the government can basically interfere at any time, that's not devolution, that's rather decentralization, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I'm Oshida from Ananda College. I'll be handling the closing statements today. Madananda deserves this shield more than anyone else, so we are here to take it. The Secretary of Defense in Sri Lanka, even the Indian government talks about 13 plus. Why 13 plus, ladies and gentlemen, if the amendment is so effective? And quite ironically, the side proposition is talking about improving the system, improving provincial councils. Why improve if the existing system is so effective? That is the whole question of the side opposition here today.
Hi, I'm Devamini. I'm 16. I will be ending your debate as the sum-up speaker of the proposition. And our opposition today is really challenging, and we hope to give you all an interesting debate and do our best. Thank you. We want provincial level development, we want grassroots level democracy, and we want cost benefits. And members of the House, we want to give a voice to each and every province. Honourable adjudicators and dear members of the House, our honourable opposition has clearly put you all in an illusion. Members of the House, they are stating that the provincial council has to be sovereign. First of all, they are stating that more powers have to be devolved. We showed you, members of the House, that 37 powers have been devolved to the provincial council, and any sort of flaws in the operation are not included in our mandate, members of the House, because we are stating that the provincial council system is effective. And our first speaker clearly stated, we define the topic as we are debating on if the system is effective or not.
The winner of today's debate is Ananda College, Colombo.